Will a sound mind and a sound body help you get your goals? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 2118 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey as I originally transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of business, meaning real businesses out in the real world, not online, not on the internet, to the online world and with the respect to the internet. When I was in the offline world solely, I didn't really have any dealings with the internet or the online world. Use it as a research tool once in a great while. Remember, I've been around for a long time, so the internet didn't exist. Cell phones didn't exist. Thousands of television channels and entertainment sources didn't exist as I was growing up through my education, through my public education, through colleges, through my corporate career, etc. But I always wanted to have my own businesses. So I started my own first business when I was 13 with the help, of course, of my family, my father and my sisters. Can't do it alone. There are very few businesses that we can run 100% solely on our own. And we don't even run those on our own because we got to have customers, right? We have to have people that we're serving or a market that we're serving or something that we're creating. And that involves interaction with other human beings. Well, our topic today for Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. This is I don't even remember how many annual challenge, but it's my 5th or 6th year in a row that I've done an annual challenge online and shared it with other people, so that I'm not just doing it myself. I'm sharing what I'm learning and I'm going through the process, and I'm sharing the process with other people. And this year's annual challenge is the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. And for it, I of course buried my lovely artistic props, actually written backwards so that they appear forward on my recording device, which is my Android phone, not an iPhone, which flips things automatically for you. In the Android world, we need to learn to write things backwards. And for somebody that's visually challenged, I give myself some kudos for actually being able to pull it off. Make mistakes sometimes, but for the most part, I can make it so that other people can read it. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence are the 9-part framework that I personally use to take some of the craziness and chaos that is our lives and in our world and add a structure and a framework and some sense to it. And since I've done that since I had a 7-part framework till 2021, and in 2021, I added communication and confidence to my personal framework of how do I look at things? How do I set goals? How do I structure things so that my life works better than it would if I didn't have any structure? Why? Because I tried it without structure and it didn't, I had results, but they were chaotic and unpredictable. Now I set my intentions, I go for what I want, and I achieve those things. And that is a lot more predictable and a lot more comfortable for me. And it feels better than if I'm just randomly going about my business, going about my day, going about my life. So our topic for today was we're reviewing each of these areas. We spent a month on each of these different areas and aspects, going through different topics, and then using our SOAP framework to improve one area of that area and aspect of our life, and then using and following our 7-step goal process that we identified and created and put together in January by looking at 15, 20 different goal frameworks and goal things to come up with, okay, well, what's the process we're going to use as we go through each of these areas this year. And today we reviewed, and I say audit because I'm a nerdy engineer, but it's really just a review of and a check-in with where are we at with respect to our mental goal, our mental well-being, our mental health, and our goal in that area, or our goals in that area. I usually set between 1 and 3 goals for the year in each of these different areas and aspects of my life. And I like it when I can combine different life framework areas and have a goal that covers more than one, because it's hard to do 27 goals in a year, right? Depending on how you set your goals and how big your goals are. And so to me, 9 or usually 3 to 5 is a lot more manageable. So if I can combine functional areas to get the benefit and have it impact more than one area of my life, that's my favorite way of setting goals and having goals and objectives. And then I like to automate the things that I need to do to achieve those goals and objectives, so that me getting them by the end of the year becomes virtually automatic, because I built them into my daily living, my daily life, and my habits and practices. So making sure that I achieve them becomes almost as automatic as the processes I use for setting them. Our idiom today for Supersize Your Business was a sound mind and a sound body, and how do they impact our ability to grow and build and supersize our business. We talked about that. Also talked about the importance of our organization's culture. You know, we hear a lot and we see a lot about our brand, our business brand, our personal brands and everything. And that's how the rest of the world sees us. But our culture is how do the people that are, and how do we inside our organization see ourselves? And that's different than the world usually sees us and our brand and the persona we put out there. And what we think our culture is often, and I had this even happen to me in some of my businesses, where the culture I thought we were creating, once I did a review and an audit and check in, usually via some other mechanism, not me doing it. I mean, I would observe and pay attention, but what I see is, of course, prejudiced by my experiences, my thinking, my beliefs, my thoughts, my feelings, my, beliefs about that particular business or organization. And so there's a lot of different ways you can do that. We used to have secret shoppers or secret customers, depending on the type of business, and it works both online and offline. How does somebody who isn't really a customer or part of our organization, how do they experience us? That it helps us to create our brand and our persona and the things and the customer experience. But how do we do that internally? I've actually hired people in my different organizations to come in and be observers and experience our culture in order to find out what was really going on. If I notice that the results that we're getting as an organization don't seem like they fit with the culture and the way we say we're doing things, and that, there's mismatches and there's challenges or there's problems or there's quality defects, that always causes me to dig deeper and look at what is the systemic or the bigger problem here, because it's usually not the symptom that we're seeing. And I learned that as decades as a quality professional, a quality manager, quality whatever, VP, all those crazy titles that they give you in corporate America. How does this result come from? How does that happen, right? And when you backtrack and go through that process of reverse engineering things, again, nerdy engineer, how can something that seems impossible actually happen? Because I learned a long, long time ago that people would complain about something and say something, and everybody in the organization would be saying, oh, that's impossible, that couldn't happen, they're making it up. And I'm like, what would be in it for them to make this up? And the flies in the cake story is probably one of my most horrific, but actually a great example of how I had to backtrack and figure out, well, how could flies actually come out of a graduation cake and ruin someone's graduation party? Horrific, but true. And everybody was saying, oh, it's impossible, it couldn't possibly happen. But by backtracking through the process, I found out exactly where and how it could happen, even with the freezer step. Anyway, that's a pretty detailed story and case study. If anybody wants to hear that, hit me up, because it's a fascinating story, and it teaches us that we need to be open-minded to sometimes the impossible actually is absolutely positively possible. And it helped us to shore up our systems and make them better and continually improve, which is what we always want to do. At least my opinion. I always want to be continually improving. All right. If I can help you in any way, ask. Busy day, busy week, as usual. Coming into the holidays. Thanksgiving's early this year. Christmas is the same as always, but it's on a weekend again. Sunday. I think it's Sunday, Monday. I think Christmas Eve is Sunday. I'll have to look and verify that, because I haven't really looked that far ahead. All right. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic week.